Hello! In today's video, we'll be going over query parameters and sheets in Visual DB. So let's get right into it. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the sheet that we have already created. And basically with this sheet, it holds many different movies that are in our database. Within the database, there could be tens of millions of different movies that we have in our database, right? What this query parameters within the sheet does is it lowers the scope of what we're selecting for from a database. Visual DB can handle around 100,000 records all at once, but once you get to things like tens of millions, that's not feasible to load right away on Visual DB. So with these query parameters, what we can do is we can lower the scope of what we're selecting from our database so that it's feasible to actually load. So in the top left, we have the country, so basically where the movie's made, and then the genre. So if we select the genre and the country, we significantly limit the amount of movies we have to look at, and we can find what we're looking for. So with that said, let's figure out how to make something like this. So first, what we're going to do is we are going to go to our queries, and we are going to create a new query using our query builder. And let's call this our movies query, like that. And we'll choose our connection and we'll click continue. First, we're going to add our main table. It's going to be movies, and let's add in all the fields of movies. We are going to add that table. And then from here, to add a query parameter, we're going to go to the bottom here where we add a new condition. And there we can first select our field that we want our parameter to be on. So for our first one, let's make it our country like we had in the sheet. And to make it a query parameter, we click this drop down here and we prompt user for value. So that's our first query parameter, but remember we had two of them, one for genre as well. So let's do that one as well. And for the genre one, you'll notice that when we drop down, we could select multiple genres. So we can't just prompt user for value. We also have to change the is equal to is one of. And basically with that allows us to do multi-valued parameters, which means we can select multiple genres at the same time, which is useful. So that's how you do that. So we're going to press OK, but we're not exactly done yet. We need to configure our prompts. So basically, when we configure our prompts, we can first see all of the different parameters that we have for our query. Let's first start with genre. And let's say, for example, you may have a comedy horror movie, for example. And basically here, we're just providing a comma separated list, and that will make it work for our default value. We'll see that up here as well. So also we want to have available values. So let's do that. Let's get that from our database table. Let's choose the table we're using right now, which is movies. And then value column, of course, is genre because we're working on genre. And then we might also want to up the prompt width in characters just because we do have multiple different genres fitting in that one place. So that might be useful. And that is genre done. Let's move over to country. Country is a little bit easier because we don't have the multi-valued parameter. Let's get that from our database table. Choose our movies, do that, and let's choose country like that, and both of these are done, and let's press OK. That's our query done. Now let's go over to sheets and create our movie sheet. And let's choose our query. Of course, we want to choose our movies query that we just created. Let's press continue. So now you'll see in the top left, we have our genre dropdown where we can select multiple different things if we want to, right? We could do action adventure from the United States and fetch that. And we would have all these different movies pop up, right? So from here, we can make our sheet look a little bit nicer. So let's look at that a little bit. So to make this look a little bit nicer, first we can do what's called color coding our values. So for a given field, we can go to available values and then offer existing values and color code them. And then we'll see that looks nice. We can also do that for our content rating. For example, we can offer existing values, color code it. You see there's PG, PG-13. Might want to color code our language. So available values, offer existing, color code them, boom. And yeah, and then maybe our genre too, we color code that, boom. And then we offer existing values, color code that. Another thing that we can do is if we click hide fields, we might be able to hide fields that aren't really necessary. So something like a trailer, the star, seems like comments isn't really being used that much. Movie ID, something like that, where it's more for the database, and we don't really care about that when we're looking at the actual information, right? So we cut down our fields, and now it looks a lot better, a lot more compact, and because of that, we can bring out our directors so that they aren't being smushed anymore. And we can also move around stuff. So maybe we want to put our content rating next to our genre like that. So that's a couple things that you can do with your sheet once you've actually had it set up with the query and everything. So yeah, that is query parameters and sheets in Visual DB. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.